West Florida's morning news source. You're watching Fox 4 Rising.
But first, we want to get to your weather this morning. We are ending the week on a chilly note. It's already hard enough to get out of bed on a Friday, and the cold temps aren't making it any easier. Thank you for waking up with us. I'm Kelly Dane. Jamie, we want to get right over to you this morning. You're telling us that the cold temps may not be the only thing we are watching this morning. Good morning.
Yes, we are also keeping an eye on the visibilities. We are in a warming trend. I know there's a lot of 40s on the map here. It's still chilly. It's still cold. But again, we are improving each day with temperatures, both highs and lows. We do have some lower 40s. Arcadia and Port Charlotte, 41. Palmdale, Punta Gorda at 43. But most of us are going to be mid to upper 40s this morning. And as we take a look at the visibilities, the reason why we're seeing those lower numbers to the north, and now that as the new numbers come in, improving conditions there. We're going to keep an eye on the visibilities throughout the morning hours because we have seen some numbers fluctuate. Nothing alarming, but we'll certainly keep an eye on the visibilities. But you're going to definitely want to layer up for this morning. Into the afternoon, I'm going to be talking about some 70s. We're going to be focusing on some 70s for the next couple of days. Those details come on up in a moment. We'll send it back to Kelly.
All right, Jamie, thank you. And we are following breaking news. Several people out of their homes this morning after a fire rips through, destroying most of it. It happened around 11:30 last night in the 7,000 block of Pebble Beach Road in San Carlos Park. We want to send it right over to Fox 4 Rising's Mark Jackman, who's live in Fort Myers. Mark, what do we know at this point about the fire that has been raging for several hours?
Yeah, it was raging for several hours, Kelly. Right now, firefighters are finally packing up the trucks because this fire has been put out after a very, very long night. We know that around 11 o'clock last night, a deputy drove by right here and he saw one of these trucks over here with the glow coming out from the bottom. He called it into firefighters and a neighbor came out. One of the people from inside this duplex actually came out with a hose trying to put it out, but by the time firefighters got here, it was just out of control and it took out all of these vehicles and then went on into the house. You can see in this video that we have some of the damage that the fire did to this house. Firefighters tell us that it took them 8,000 to 10,000 gallons of water to finally put this fire out. They said that's more than is typical, but for a fire like this, it was a total loss. 95% of this house was damaged in this fire, and 4 people unfortunately were displaced. But the good news is none of them were injured. However, one of the sides of this duplex was an elderly couple that was disabled. They were taken to the hospital, but it looks like with no serious injuries. And take a listen now to what one neighbor that was awake this morning in all the commotion told Fox 4.
And I heard a really loud explosion, and then I ran down here. It wasn't that big when I got here. Then the truck engulfed, and the truck flames caught the top of the house on fire, and just everything went down from there.
And like I said, it looks like this was a total loss. Firefighters are telling us 3 vehicles destroyed. And the firefighters want me to remind you that typically these car fires can get quickly out of hand, so it's always best to call 911. We're live here in San Carlos Park. Mark Jackman, Fox 4 Rising.
Good morning, Southwest Florida. We are going to be under severe clear again for today. A lot of sunshine overhead. Beautiful blue skies yesterday. We'll be very close to 50 degrees at that 8 o'clock hour, and 70s are finally back in the forecast. Take a look at this. Numbers are already improving to the north. With the fog, or the possibility thereof, we will see numbers fluctuating. As these numbers drop, which has been primarily to the north, fog will be developing. Right now, the visibilities have improved dramatically, up to 9 and 10 visibility. So there you're going to see those numbers pop back up just a little bit. So a lot of mid-40s. Occasionally, you're going to find a lower 40 to the north, and we'll hold on to numbers close to 50 degrees around Collier County. And we are improving on those temperatures. We're 2 to 6 degrees warmer than this time yesterday. It's a small step, but it's a step in the right direction. And the visibilities, again, looking absolutely clear. Maybe a little concern if you're headed to west central Florida. And for the bus stop forecast, just layer the kids up. Again, we're going to be under clear skies. A lot of sunshine through these morning hours. Sometimes that does hinder the visibility, so be careful with all that bright sunshine hitting the windshield. And the temperature forecast, again, look at We're going to be very close to a mid-70 in many neighborhoods for today, a little cooler at the water's edge. But it is looking great to see those 70s back and clear skies overhead. As I mentioned, we're going to keep an eye on the visibilities, but I think for today we're talking absolutely beautiful weather in southwest Florida. That's your Storm Patrol 4 weather forecast.
Now, on-time traffic brought to you by Associates and Bruce L. Shiner, attorneys for the injured.
Good morning. We already have our first accident of this morning reported in Bonita Springs. Still dark out there. You got a little bit of fog on the road, so it can be dangerous out there. Take it extra slow when you're out this morning, heading down 75, especially where we have this accident. This is going to be right there at Corkscrew. Now, to give you an idea of what traffic looks like in that area, it is moving pretty slow right now. As you can see, this is 75 northbound. This is going to be between Corkscrew through Bonita Beach Road and all the way to Immokalee Road, where you're going to see those stop and go traffic. We'll send it back to the desk.
All right, Stephanie, thank you. It is now 5:06, and we're following breaking news out of Detroit. A woman there says she believes she contracted the Zika virus while in Florida last week. Now, we want to stress that this is still under investigation, and right now it is not confirmed that she has the virus. Our sister station in Detroit interviewing the woman who says doctors and CDC officials believe a mosquito bite she got in Florida is the cause. The woman claims she's been suffering flu-like symptoms along with pink eye. There's no word on where in Florida the woman visited. Once again, this is still under investigation. Meanwhile, this new information comes as another case of the Zika virus is confirmed in Lee County, bringing the total to 3 cases in southwest Florida. That's according to the Florida Surgeon General. This brings the total number to 18 cases overall here in the Sunshine State. But it is important to note none were contracted by mosquitoes here in the state at this point. Centers for Disease Control spoke with Florida hospital workers to discuss the spread of Zika as the mosquito-borne virus is rapidly spreading through Latin America and may be linked to babies being born with unusually small heads. And it's not just a hot topic here in Florida, but in Washington, too.
We will see hundreds or thousands of travelers returning to the U.S., and unfortunately, some of those individuals will be pregnant women.
A Senate subcommittee gathering on Capitol Hill yesterday to review President Obama's supplemental budget request. He's specifically calling for increased funding to combat the Zika virus. Venezuela is just announcing the first Zika-related deaths in the South American country. The Venezuela president says that at least 3 people have died in the country due to complications related to the virus. He adds another 68 people have been hospitalized. Venezuela is reporting more than 5,000 suspected cases of Zika since November of last year.